Hi, video diary. It's well, a few things have happened since the last video diary. Firstly, I went to London for a track HD appointment. People who've watched these video diaries for a while know that one of the research studies that I'm involved in is something called Track HD, or it's now become Track On HD. And it's a study that runs for several years on HD patients, trying to identify biomarkers for, to try and plot the disease progression, and because there are a lot of sort of changes in people's sort of cognitive and psychiatric abilities that happen quite early on, and it's important to try and be able to plot that progress so that if any potential treatments and things can be the success or can be measured. I went to the Track HD assessment, which was in London, instead of the National Hospital or in that campus area. It was a full day appointment, so I travelled down the day before, and spent the day having a variety of tests done. It's always very interesting. The day started out with sort of a clinical assessment, sort of updating symptoms and things like that, followed by several functional MRI scans. So I had about 2.5 hours worth of functional MRI scans. So I was having to do various things, look at various things, and think various things while the scans were being performed. I broke for lunch, and then after lunch I had I've got a note here of the things we had in case I forgot. I had some cognitive assessments, followed by quantitative motor assessments. So that's like holding these pressure sensors with your fingers, and trying to hold a heavy object in three-dimensional space in a still position. So, and it's sort of, there are systems that monitor how smoothly you can do that, and things like that. Then there was some oculomotor tests. So these are sort of lasers are monitoring the position of your eyes. So you put these kind of goggles on that monitor where your eyes are, and you're having to follow these dots around on a particular in a particular way. So like when a particular pattern of dots appears, you need to look away from where those dots are, and the laser tracking system tracks where your eyes are to see how effectively are. That's obviously one of the things affected in the fine motor control problems with Huntington's disease. Then I was having a session on neuropsychiatric and functional assessments, and then followed by a session on using transcranial magnetic stimulation. That's where they attach electrodes to various points on your head and use a magnet, strong but very focused magnet, to generate an electric impulse in nerves in the head, in the brain, which register in this case in the hand. So I had electrodes in my hand, and all these things over my head, and they were zapping me with this magnet to generate the current, which was causing my hand to flinch. Quite uncomfortable. And said a number of people who have had this test, people requested not to have the TMS again because they found it quite uncomfortable. It was a bit uncomfortable, but they were happy to do it. One of the things I'm going to do, it never occurred to me to take. I didn't have a camera with me, but they said if I could, next time I go, I can take a photo. They'll take a photo of me with all this stuff, all these electrodes on my head and things like that. So I should do that next time. What else? So that's that. Funny enough, I'm going back into London in a few days' time. for a clinical assessment. So the one I just told you about happened about a week and a half ago or something. Was a research appointment. What I've got next week, or in a few days' time, on Thursday, is a clinical appointment. So it's a regular clinical appointment, actually, with the neurologists who are providing me with that clinical care. Now that's in the same hospital campus in London. So yeah, I'll go down and I want to try and address. I'm having severe problems with fatigue. I sleep most of the day. I even feel sometimes I'm sleeping quite a lot at night. I'm feeling. I mean, I do get up a lot in the night, but generally speaking, I'm fairly well rested. I feel, but I wake up and I'll get dressed and have my breakfast and I'm shattered and I'll sleep and it's just like that. Every time I do something, I fall asleep and I'm spending most of the day and night asleep. There's something not right. So obviously the melatonin, the sleep drug I've taken, that's not really working. I'm doing the best I can do from a sleep hygiene perspective. I'm trying to minimise my tablet use. My Android tablet use at night, because it's backlight, and if you use a device with a backlight, that stimulates or causes your body to not produce melatonin, so it keeps you awake basically. So the idea is to not use that stuff, not to have bright lights right next to your eyes. Well, one of the things we're talking about is switching the antidepressant I'm on, which I take in the morning. I think the last idea that the neurologist had was to try this. They've got another good antidepressant that's quite effective in Huntington's, but also has a sedative effect, so naturally will help me go to sleep. So it's something I would take before bedtime. So that's probably what we'll move on to. The implication is I've got to transition from one antidepressant to another, which means you can't do that suddenly. I need to slowly taper down, wind down the dosage of one antidepressant and then ramp up onto another one to minimise the side effects of making that. So that's going to be obviously, will mean I won't be taking a full dose of antidepressant for a period of time, for a few weeks. So that's something to be done cautiously, but I'm not sleeping, so or I'm sleeping all the time. I am totally fatigued, so I need to. I can't continue like that. So, and that's it. I think that's enough for this one. All right, see you later. Bye.